we have completed installing our strain gauges, one from the top, one from the bottom of our load cell here. So we should have 4 wires trailing off from each end of our cell here. So now what we need to do is we need to identify how we're going to be plugging them up to our indicator. So you should be provided these additional wires. So you'll have, they kind of, one end they fork off and split to 2, and then the other end will just be a single wire. So you'll have one of these for each color. So a red one and then a black one. Again, one end splits into 2, the other one is a single, a green wire, and then a white wire. And these should already be prepared for you by the time you get to the lab. So that's one last thing that you have to do. Now, naturally, the colors of this wire are going to match up with the colors on our cell. So we can see we've got a white wire coming out from this end, and then we also have a white wire coming from this end. So naturally, you're going to take both of the white wires, and using the splitted end of the wire prepared for you already, you're going to insert, I'm going to bring this closer to you so you can see. You're going to insert one of the double ends on one side and then take the other splitted end and plug it in on this side. So that way it basically turns the 2 separate white wires, once they're plugged in together, it will come in and create one single white wire. So that's what we're going to do with every color. So let's do the green next. So it looks like we have a green on this side and a green wire on this side. So we'll pull those and grab the splitted wire that converts to a single. Take the double end, plug in one side here, take the other end and plug in on this side, and now we've turned our double into a single wire. Right? Now we've got black. Black appears to be coming out both ends here, but there's 2. So we take our splitted wire, black wire here, plug in to one piece, take the other end, plug it into the other piece, and now our double black wires have turned into a single black wire. Last but not least, our red. So the reds both are coming out this direction. So we'll take our double end, plug it into this red one, and then the other red one. And now we've turned our double red wire into a single red wire. All right? So now that these are hooked up, we need to identify how on earth is this conglomeration of wires going to be hooked up to our strain indicator, to our blue box here. But first, I think it would be wise if we went ahead and finished setting up our cell. We need to create a frame for it so it can be held. When we start adding the weights, you want it to be stationary. You want it to be sitting in a standard position, so that way it's not going to cause any variation. You want the scores that you get on your indicator, you want those numbers to be accurate. So in order to do that, if we don't, you can see it's pretty wobbly because we've got these wires and tape going everywhere. So we've created these wood planks here that we will put on the bottom and the top, and our cell will go in between, and it'll create sort of a frame so that it can hold our cell and our readings will be more accurate. So you take one of your wood planks here, and we're going to use bolts and washers to stabilize the system here. So what you will need to do is, I like to go ahead and move the washer slightly up a little bit across the bolt, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up just sticking it down into the wood. What we like though is we would like for, the longer the bolt is down into the wood, the more stable that it will be. So I'll probably end up using this longer end to put down into my frame. And then I will use the shorter end to screw inside, because that you can see that there are, we've got these screw holes inside here. So you don't want to strip it out. It actually makes it very strong if we start screwing our bolt inside. And then once you've got, several inches in, then your bolt should just rest right on top of your load cell here. And then, like I said, we're just going to push it. It should easily push down inside the wood. For the bottom base, we're actually going to use 2 bolts here. We don't need an additional washer. I think honestly they're probably too close together to even include another washer. So, but it's not needed, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and try getting them about the same even length, feel stable, that sort of nature, and then we can go ahead and apply them down into our base of our wood here. You should just be able to wiggle back and forth, and eventually it will go down. You want it to be stable and meet the base here. Looks like it's stable enough. Okay. Now we need to go ahead and put our top of our base of our frame together. And so we want our holes to be on this end, because we've already taken care of this side, but now we need to take care of the left side of our system. So we're going to try to line up the holes as best we can. You might need to move your washer toward the middle of the bolt here, just so that way it doesn't get in the way. Now that they're lined up, you can push all the way through the wood for the most part. Once you're through the wood, then you can start screwing into the cell. So we're going to start trying to screw into our cell here, just enough to where it feels like it's strong and sturdy, which right now it does. So I can just fasten the washer the rest of the way down to kind of help tighten and create that strength for our frame here. Okay, so now we are set up and ready to start managing our wires here and figuring out where they go inside the indicator. So I'm going to scoot this to the side actually. What you'll do is reference the far right diagram on the inside cover of your indicator. This is a full bridge and transducer model, and it's actually going to show us how we should, how our wires should be connected together. Once they're connected, then you're going to bring them into P+, an S-, a P-, or an S+. And so this tells that P+ would be like done here. We're going to use channel 1 or input 1 right here. So if we needed a P+, like our model shows us, the P+ would be here. The next one is an S-, which is right next door. Then it says we need a P-, so we keep looking. It's a little bit further to the right. We haven't used this one yet, but it's a P-, and then right next door is the last one that we need, which is an S+. And we also, this position is new for us as well. So the P-, S+ are new. But this can be kind of confusing because we've got a C that represents compression, a T that represents compression and tension, so it represents our tension, and then it just alternates all the way around. So this can be confusing when we start bringing in 4 different colors of wires. We've got our black, our white, green, and red wire. But what does that mean? So I went in and drew a diagram of our cell. So this is our load cell here, the metal aluminum beam with the centric circles there, or attached circles. So I drew a diagram to show us what this looks like. So here in the middle is our cell, okay? And the circles, the adjoined circles are here. Now I went in and I wrote our color of our wires that were on the top and the bottom. And they have 2 wires attached to a strain gauge, okay? So on the top, it doesn't matter, it could be inverted for you. Either way, it's gonna hook up similarly. You'll just, invert the image and hook it up in that way. So we have a red and a white wire coming from the top, and they're coming down off of our cell. Then we have a black and white coming off of the cell on this side. So I went ahead and took that image from the cover of our indicator, see the image here, and I drew it inside our cell. So that way it could maybe help us visualize what we're doing. So we're looking at it and it's saying that you should have some wires coming off. They should be touching a compression and then touching on the bottom a tension. Okay, so if you have a wire coming from the compression and a wire coming from the tension, well, which wires are those? That would be matching. Okay, so I look at my diagram, I have compression and tension right here, just like it matches the diagram. So what wires are coming that are matching from here and from here? Well, we have a red and a white. Down here we have a green and a red. What are the same colors? It's a red. There are reds that are shared on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to bring those wires together, and we did that. Remember, we took our splitter wire, we turned it 2 red wires coming off of the cell that converted into 1. This 1 red wire is going to be plugged into the S- location of our indicator, okay? So the S- location is just here, so we can hook that up. So I'm going to lift open that position and plug in my red wire, okay? So let's think about the next one. The next one is a white, okay? So that's the one that we left on the top. So it's compression. The white is part of a compression. And then if we move over, we see there's another white, but it's part of a tension. So if we connect them together, they should be, if you look at your diagram, compression and tension are touching together. So we see here, compression and tension are touching together. We follow it, it should be a P-. So that's what I wrote here. I said, okay, I've got a white compression and a white tension. They should be coming together to a P-, okay? So I'm gonna go back to my system here, bring it over, find my white wire, make sure that they are connecting. A white from the system, from the cell, another white from the cell. They're connected and they should be producing a single white wire. And remember, we said it should be connecting to a P- position on the indicator. So if I go to my indicator, I look, this is the one of the new positions that we have not used before. So I'm going to go ahead and open that position P- and put in the white wire. And I went ahead and closed it. As soon as I opened it, inserted the wire and closed it, just so that way in the moving around, it's not going to get lost or unhooked. So I just went ahead and closed it as soon as I finished inserting it, okay? So let's just keep going around like a clockwise motion. Okay, so we've used the white already. What's left? We have a black, okay? A black wire. Where's the other matching black wire? Oh, it's down here, okay? So the black is with a tension on the top, and then the black is a compression on the bottom. So tension and compression, what do they do? Well, if I'm looking back up here at my indicator, I have a tension and a compression. They should be coming together to a have to look exactly tension and compression to a S plus. So did I match that up correctly on my diagram? Black, black, yes, it should be going to an S plus position. So I'm going to take my wires here, make sure that the two black wires coming from your load cell are connected appropriately, they're snug. They should be transitioning to a single black wire. This single black wire should be going to an S plus position. So if I look at that on my indicator, the S plus position is right next door to the white wire where we place the white wire. So let's insert that now. S plus. It is in. All right. Last but not least, what do we have left? We should have the green wires. And we do. They're just hanging out here to the side. We're the only one left, so it looks like we're doing okay. We're hooking them up in the right order. So a green is with compression, and then right next door, green is with tension. So let's look back at our indicator here. A compression and a tension should come together to a P plus. So we look down. Did we do our diagram right? Yes, we said it should be going to a P plus. So going back to our system, make sure that we've got the two green wires coming off of the cell are plugged in and should be transitioning to a single green wire. We said this single green wire should be plugging into our indicator at the P plus position. So the P plus position is right next to our red wire. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that now. And then don't forget to close the black switch there to make sure that they're all connected. Okay, so I think we're finished with our white paper now. So we're going to set it off to the side.